If someone does this, you're not just on their mind, you're living there, not loudly, not obviously, but constantly, in ways they can't fully hide. And the strange part is, they'll act normal while quietly centering their world around you, because obsession doesn't start intense. It starts small, controlled, almost invisible, until the patterns repeat, until the same behaviors show up again and again in ways that don't make sense anymore. And once you notice it, you stop asking, do they like me? And you start asking, why are they always there? Number one, they track your routine without ever asking about it. At first, it feels like coincidence. They somehow know when you're usually free. They show up around the same time you do. They message or react at moments that match your schedule almost perfectly. You think, maybe it just happened that way, but then it keeps happening. You go somewhere at a different time and somehow they're still around. You post at an unusual hour and they still see it instantly. And here's where it gets interesting. This isn't random awareness. This is learned behavior. When someone is secretly obsessed with you, they start mapping your patterns, not consciously at first, but over time. It becomes intentional. They notice when you're active, when you're offline, when you're likely to respond, and they adjust themselves around it. Think about it. Most people don't pay attention to your routine unless they need to, but someone who's focused on you, they learn it without asking. And this changes everything, because it means your life has become part of their mental system. Not just someone they talk to, but someone they follow quietly. Number two, they react instantly, but act like it's casual. This one is subtle, but powerful. You post something, and they're one of the first to see it. You say something, and they respond quickly. You enter a room, and they notice you immediately, but they don't make it obvious. They act relaxed, unbothered, like it just happened naturally. But here's the deeper truth. Speed reveals attention. When someone consistently reacts faster than everyone else, it means they were already watching, already aware, already focused. And most people miss this, because each moment feels small. A quick view, a fast reply, a simple reaction. But when it becomes a pattern, it's no longer small, it's intentional. And this changes everything. Because attention like that doesn't come from casual interest, it comes from priority. Number three, they insert themselves into your life, even when they don't belong there. This one starts to feel a little different. They ask about things that don't involve them. They show interest in situations they're not part of. They find ways to stay connected, even when there's no reason to. And it's not aggressive. It's subtle, almost disguised as curiosity, but you notice it. That constant presence, that feeling that they're always just slightly involved. And here's where it gets interesting. When someone is obsessed with you, distance becomes uncomfortable, so they look for ways to reduce it, even if it means stepping into areas of your life that don't really concern them. Think about it. Normal interest stays within boundaries, but obsession, it pushes those boundaries quietly. And this changes everything, because now it's not just about liking you, it's about staying connected to you no matter what. Number four, their emotional state shifts based on your behavior. This is where things become more intense, even if it's not obvious. When you give them attention, they seem lighter, more engaged, more alive, more present. But when you pull back, something changes. They become quieter, less responsive, slightly off, in a way you can't fully explain. And at first, you might ignore it, but over time, it becomes clear. Their mood follows your energy. And here's the deeper psychology. When someone is obsessed, you become a source of emotional regulation. Your attention affects them. Your absence affects them. Your presence changes how they feel. And most people miss this because it's not dramatic. It's subtle shifts. But those shifts, they reveal dependency. And this changes everything, because now it's not just attraction. It's emotional attachment at a deeper level. Number five, they remember everything and connect it over time. This goes beyond normal memory. They don't just remember big things. They remember small details and then connect them later. You mentioned something casually weeks ago, and suddenly they bring it up again in a completely different context, like they've been holding on to it, thinking about it, linking it to other things you've said, and you're left thinking, how do you remember that? But here's the truth. People only store information like that when it matters to them. And when someone is obsessed with you, everything you say carries weight, even the smallest details. And this changes everything, because it shows depth of focus, not just interest, but continuous mental engagement. Number six, they subtly compete for your attention without making it obvious. This one is easy to overlook because it's not direct. They don't demand attention. They don't confront you, but their behavior shifts when your focus moves elsewhere. You start talking to someone else, And they suddenly become more present, more engaged, more noticeable. They try to pull your attention back, but in a controlled way. And you've probably felt this, that shift in energy when someone else enters your space. But here's where it gets interesting. When someone is obsessed, your attention becomes valuable. Not just something they enjoy, something they need. So they compete for it, not loudly, not aggressively, but consistently. And most people miss this because it's subtle. But when you notice the pattern, it becomes clear. Number 7, they create reasons to interact even when none exist. This one starts to stand out over time. They message you about small things. They bring up topics that don't really matter. They start conversations that don't have a clear purpose. And at first, it feels normal, but then you realize it keeps happening. They're not just talking to you. They're looking for ways to talk to you. And here's the deeper truth. When someone is obsessed with you, silence feels uncomfortable. They don't like the gap. They don't like the distance, so they fill it, even with things that don't matter. And this changes everything because it shows effort, not loud effort, but constant effort. Number 8, they mirror your behavior at a deeper level. Mirroring is natural, but this goes beyond simple imitation. They adopt your habits, your tone, your way of speaking, not instantly, but over time. You start noticing similarities, patterns that weren't there before, and it feels strange. But here's where it gets interesting. When someone is obsessed with you, they don't just observe you, they absorb you. Your behavior becomes familiar, comfortable, so they start reflecting it without realizing. And most people miss this because it happens gradually. But once you see it, you understand. This isn't coincidence, it's influence. Number 9, they keep showing up, no matter how much time passes. This is where the pattern becomes undeniable. You don't talk for days, maybe weeks, and suddenly they're back. A message, a reaction, a small interaction that reconnects everything. And it doesn't feel random, it feels timed, like they never fully left. And here's the deeper psychology. When someone is obsessed, they can't completely disconnect, even if they try, even if they create distance. Something always pulls them back, and this changes everything. Because absence is temporary, but presence is consistent. Number 10, you feel their attention, even when nothing is happening. This is the hardest one to explain, because it's not logical, it's a feeling. You're not always interacting, you're not always seeing them, but somehow you're aware of them, their presence, their attention, their focus, and you might question it. You might think, am I imagining this? But here's the truth. Humans are incredibly good at detecting attention, even subconsciously. Your brain picks up on patterns, on repeated behaviors, on subtle signals that don't make sense individually, but make sense together. And this changes everything, because sometimes the strongest signal is the one you can't fully explain. Now here's the part most people don't want to admit. Obsession doesn't always look extreme. It doesn't always feel intense. Sometimes it feels normal, comfortable, almost easy to ignore. But when you look closer, you see the repetition, the consistency, the patterns that don't break. And you've probably felt this before. That sense that someone is more focused on you than they should be, but you couldn't prove it, so you ignored it. But think about everything you've noticed. The timing, the awareness, the memory, the presence. Individually, they seem small, but together, they tell a different story. A story of someone who isn't just interested, but deeply, consistently invested in you. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So the next time someone's behavior feels slightly too consistent, slightly too aware, slightly too present, don't dismiss it immediately. Pay attention, because sometimes the quietest patterns reveal the strongest emotions. And if you've noticed even a few of these signs more than once over time, then deep down, you already know what this means.